Hi, I'm Dr. Len Erschow, and this is part of my series on the Isolation Survivors Toolkit. And this is my dining room home office, and this is my dining room table desk. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about ergonomics at your home setting, because while a lot of us have not normally been working at home, now we're working at home more. And while some of us may have an official home office, a lot of us may be working at their home dining room desk office. Full disclosure, I do have a study all the way over there, but it is so full that I actually can't work in it, so I do a lot of my work right here. You know, in my work as a chiropractor, I have a lot of patients that come into my office and say that they have neck pain. And they say to me they don't know what they did, or sometimes they say I didn't do anything. And so I try to relate to them that even though we don't do a particular activity to hurt our necks, we're doing something chronically every day, all day long, that may irritate our necks. For instance, our necks weigh about 10 to 13 pounds. So think of your neck as a bowling ball. And this is actually a little bit heavier. But if we are sitting at a desk and our head is supposed to be over our bodies and it's forward, we're doing something that's called an isometric contraction. Now, an isometric contraction is a contraction of the muscle when the joint does not move. It's sort of like the old 1960s isometric exercises that people used to do in their offices to get muscle strength without really being able, or without even going to the gym. So if I'm holding this muscle for a long period of time in what we call an isometric contraction, and then I relax that muscle stays contracted inside for long periods of time, and we lose proper flow of oxygen and blood to the muscle, and what that makes the muscle do over a period of time is tighten even more. Now, that can even happen if we've held this for a long period of time and laid completely flat. The muscle will continue to have what's called intermuscular pressure. The second thing is, if the head is forward, you have muscles that go all the way down into your mid-back, muscles that come down into your shoulder, the smaller and deeper muscles in your neck that are constantly holding that isometric contraction so your head does not fall forward. Now, a bowling ball may be something that you can't relate to in terms of how much weight that is. So this bowling ball is a little bit heavier, but let's look at some of the things that we can see in a store on a regular basis. This is a bottle of bottled water, and this is approximately, let me take a look, this is approximately 2.6 pounds. So if we hold that in our arms in the store, you can get an idea of what that feels like. Here's a bottle of orange juice. I won't advertise the brand, but this weighs a little over, let's take a look, 3.8 pounds. So again, if you hold this for a period of time, you're still creating an isometric contraction, and think of that, 3.8 pounds. You may say, well, that's not a lot. This, however, is about 6.6 pounds when it's completely full. So when you go to the store next time, or if you have something like this in your refrigerator, why don't you pick that up and hold that for several minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, and you can get to feel what an isometric contraction feels like. Now, if we were thinking about it in terms of the neck, we could hold this over our heads like this, and we would get some strain in through here, or even if I hold it here, I get a little strain in through here and up in through here. However, if I hold my arms out and bring it out further, it's going to feel like there's muscle tightness in through here and in through the mid-back. And those are a lot of the same muscles that are holding your head up. So what are we going to do about that? Well, first, we have to realize that what we think of as normal posture in our home office and dining room desk is not really normal posture. As you can see, my shoulders are somewhat forward, my head is forward, and my back is rounded, especially in the lower back. That's not good for a variety of reasons. First, as we talked about, the muscles in the mid and upper back that attach to the neck are constantly trying to hold my head. So I'm not going forward, and yet I'm pushing it forward, and so the muscles are doing that isometric contraction. Secondly, our core muscle position is gone. Our hip flexors, which have a prime activity or prime reason as to why we sometimes have back pain are in a constant shortened position. One, because our hips are flexed, and two, because our backs are rounded and that muscle is shortened. If we tend to lean or rotate one way or the other, then one muscle is going to tighten more than the other. And when we get up, that means our back will rotate one way or the other, or this way or this way, or this way, or all those directions at the same time. And over a period of time, that will irritate us. So, this is what might be my normal position in a seated position. What I'd like to do is change that. Now this is just a regular memory foam cervical pillow that I got at one of the Bed Bath & Beyond, Linens and Things type stores for a very inexpensive price. I like it because it's a memory foam and it will conform to my back. I'm going to put this right in the small of my back, not down too low and not up too high. And if I sit like this, I think you can see, and we'll look at the video later myself, that my posture is no longer like this, but now I'm being supported in this direction and my head is somewhat forward. Just another interesting point is if I'm like this and I want to bring my head up over my body and I go like this, I get about 10 degrees. If I put this into my back and allow it, because it's memory foam, it's going to conform to my low back, and bring myself to this position, I get a good 15, 20 degrees. And then if over a period of time I train myself, I can bring my head back into this more appropriate position. So that will help my core position. And initially I may feel different, but eventually I will be able to adapt to that, and I'm being supported in that position. Now, if you don't have a little fancy-dancy back pillow or memory foam pillow, you can go to your couch, hopefully if you have something, and you can try a variety of different sizes in that area. So that does not feel as good to me, but it does do a similar thing, and I can use it as a workaround. Let's try a bigger pillow. The bigger pillow is going to push me more forward towards my desk area, and I may need to adjust my chair then, but that feels pretty good. And although it doesn't give me that same support in my lower back, it does help a little bit. The other thing that it does that's interesting is that a lot of people get leg pain, and if I use a bigger pillow in the back and it pushes me forward, I get a different strike position, the back part of my leg, which we call the hamstrings. One of the other things you can invest in, if you want to take some time, maybe you already have, is an ergonomic mouse. I don't know if you can see that. This is an older one. It's kind of big and clunky, but it does have a place to rest my whole palm and hand. It does have a place for the scroll on the mouse here. It has a left click and right click right here, and I can keep my hand in a more neutral position. The other thing you might want to think about is if you wear glasses. If you wear reading glasses in particular, you have those little reading glasses. If you're looking at your screen and you need your reading glasses to do that, you may need to change the position of your neck. That may not be appropriate for you. So I would suggest that if you need a reading glass for the computer, what I would do is get a glass that's a little bit bigger and just for the computer so that you can look at that and be more appropriate in your position. The other things you want to think about is whether you have a strong right eye or left eye. That may sort of predispose you to turn one way or the other because that one eye is going to be the stronger eye. If that's the case, you may want to switch your computer so that that helps you keep a more appropriate position. The other thing that's important for this is to take breaks. 15-20 minutes, a half an hour. If you can do that, that would be great, even if it's every hour. And we'll talk about that going forward. I'm actually going to make a short video on neck stretches and postural re-education for people who work in a home office. The core is also a really important area to strengthen, and I will do some videos that address core strengthening as well. The issue with both core strengthening, postural re-education, and any exercise that you do, including stretching, that if you don't use this during the day, even if you're a person that can hold a core position for a really long time and have a really strong core. If I don't hold that position during the day, or at least periodically during the day, it's like I don't have a core. So those are things to think about. I want you to look forward to some of the other videos I'm going to put forward, and I hope you have a great day at your home office.